Welcome to Earth Archives, about the three major Catholic knights in the Middle Ages, the most famous of which is the Knights Templar. I believe many friends have heard the story of their destruction due to accumulation of wealth, and it has even evolved to the point where there are undiscovered treasures of the knights. Legend. Let's talk about this legend today. Please help share and subscribe to the Earth Archives channel before the show starts. Thank you. The poor fellow soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon, more commonly known as the Knights Templar, or the Templars, was one of the most renowned military orders during the Middle Ages. The source of their fame came not only from their prowess on the battlefield, but also from the wealth they amassed during the Crusades. These riches eventually led to their downfall, and became the so-called treasure of the Templars in the popular imagination. The finances of the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were not only great warriors, but formidable financiers as well. One of the two ranks of non-fighting men, for instance, was known as the farmers, who were responsible for the administration of the order's worldly possessions. The other rank was the chaplains, which tended to the spiritual needs of the order. As they had the official endorsement of the Church, the wealthy of Europe provided the Templars with a large amount of donations in the form of money, land, and fighting men. Additionally, they were exempted from all taxation, including the ecclesiastical tithes that were due to the clergy. Thus, the Knights Templar became one of the most affluent institutions during the Middle Ages. The downfall of the Templars. It was during the early 14th century that the Knights Templar officially came to an end, with the execution of its last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay. The dissolution of the order was related to its vast treasury. The man responsible for the downfall of the Templars was the King of France, Philip IV, called the Fair. The French king, it has been claimed, was heavily in debt to the Templars due to his war with the English, and he was eyeing the wealth of the Templars for himself. In 1305, Pope Clement V sent letters to de Molay and the Grand Master of the Hospitallers, requesting them to come to France to discuss the possible merger of the two orders. De Molay arrived in early 1307, though the meeting was delayed for some time. Nevertheless, the Grand Master was able to discuss other matters with the Pope, one of which concerned some charges made a few years earlier by an ousted Templar, regarding impropriety in the Knights Templar initiation ceremony. Some believe that the Pope was in collusion with the French king, though others claim that the Pope was a weak character who served as a pawn of Philip. A royal inquiry was set up to look into the matter of the Templars, and Philip saw this as an opportunity to get rid of the Knights Templar. On the 18th of March 1314, almost 7 years after the Templars were first arrested throughout France, de Molay and 3 other top-ranking knights were burned to death as heretics in Paris. Philip freed himself from his monetary debts to the Knights Templar, and seized their treasury as well. The king, however, would not enjoy his newfound wealth for long, as he died on the 29th of November 1314, less than a year after de Molay's execution. Some believe that the Templars managed to hide some of their wealth from the French king. This became the foundation for the legend of the Templars' treasure, and many have since speculated on the location of their richness. Contents of the Knights Templar treasure. It has been claimed that the Knights Templar treasure contained more than common material wealth. It is believed that the Templars had collected a number of sacred relics during their time in the Holy Land as well. For example, one of the charges leveled against the Templars was that they were idolaters who worshipped the image of a bearded man. An unpublished account of the initiation of a young Frenchman, Arnauld Sabatier, into the order, which was found by a historian doing research in the Vatican secret archives, has helped to shed light on this claim. It is reported that Sabatier was shown a long piece of linen on which was impressed the figure of a man and told to worship it, kissing the feet 3 times. It has been suggested that this was one of the relics in the possession of the Templars, the Shroud of Turin. While the Shroud of Turin is kept in the Royal Chapel of the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin today, the location of other purported Templar relics is harder to pinpoint. These supposed relics include the Treasure of Solomon, the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, lost teachings of Jesus, and even the mummified head of Christ. Even though some experts assert that the treasure was taken by the French king and the Templars' property was mostly given to the Hospitallers, there are still many people who disagree and believe that at least some of the Knights Templar treasure has been hidden. The possible locations for the treasure vary, ranging from Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland to Oak Island in Nova Scotia, Canada, and even a remote Danish island in the Baltic called Bornholm.